The Battlefront Network, giving you your daily dose of Battlefront content.
Hello everyone and welcome, my name is Tom and you're watching the Battlefront Network today. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video and that's because a few problems popped up, including the fact that my graphics card decided to break and my PC didn't feel like working. So I had to get those fixed and I went on holiday for 2 weeks. But we're here now and oh boy, the videos we are going to be bringing you will be absolutely amazing. But before we kick this off, if you didn't know, me and Jonathan, the graphics director and fellow host on the channel, are going to EGX in Birmingham from the 24th to the 27th of September this year, and we'll be bringing you on-the-floor coverage of Star Wars Battlefront, interviews, chatting with developers and representatives, and getting the community involved. But of course, we'll make a video on that at a later date, covering everything, and how you can meet up with us if you're there, and if you're going, so we can experience Star Wars Battlefront together. So, let's get on with this news roundup. First, we were provided with some PC gameplay of Star Wars Battlefront from AMD, which showed off some extra gameplay on Hoth and Tatooine. It showed the ion torpedo being used, the thermal imploder being used again, an orbital strike being used, and the scout trooper taking a shot at the player. It looks great and I can't wait to be playing this on the PC. Star Wars Battlefront will be available first on the Xbox One via EA Access, meaning that players can play the full game a few days before everyone else. EA released an article talking about the DICE team that travelled to Skywalker Ranch to record sounds for Star Wars Battlefront. The article talks about the great depth the team went to in order to capture the sounds of the Star Wars universe, so that it could be brought to life in the game. And Ben Minto, DICE's audio director, said, "What we were really after were recordings of the air or the feel of the Pacific coastal redwoods, which is a location where the Forest Moon of Endor was filmed. If you can get away from today's noise pollution, you can experience this very delicate and quiet sound that is something we strive to add in as a layer when designing ambiences. It really helps to put the player in that specific environment and sell the sensation of being surrounded by those giant trees. We spent 2 days recording in different reserves, capturing the air and other obvious Endor sounds, but also looking at how sounds travel through a forest. Clean, real recordings like these are very useful to us when making quadraphonic ambiences and for adding the right sense of space and life. Being there in person and experiencing those surroundings makes it easier when trying to recreate that feel in the studio. There were some audio recordings included in the article for you to listen to, so you can check those out by using the link in the description below. GameStop offered an exclusive double-sided poster pre-order bonus for customers who pre-ordered the game through them. However, stock was limited, and if you haven't pre-ordered your copy yet, then you may not be in luck. But for those who have pre-ordered the game already from GameStop, you can pick up your poster from your nearest GameStop using your receipt. Now, after looking at this, I'm hoping that more artwork and posters will be produced and that they will be available to buy after the game is released, because I would love a framed Battlefront poster on my wall. That would be just legendary, especially if they look this good. Please make more posters! Several community questions were answered, and they were as follows. How do vehicles spawn in Walker Assault? In Walker Assault, vehicles are tied to the power-up system. When you find a vehicle power-up on the map, you'll need to activate it, which immediately spawns you inside the vehicle. Vehicle power-ups specifically must be used within a certain amount of time. This is a design decision to allow more equal distribution of vehicle power-ups amongst all players. Can I fly the Y-Wing? Y-Wings are non-player controlled vehicles. They are a support vehicle that you can call into battle within certain game modes. Is split screen available on PC? Split screen will be available for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One only. Does experience within missions apply to multiplayer progression? Playing missions does not grant you multiplayer career experience, but it does provide you with credit rewards you can spend on buying unlocks. The second round of questions and answers were: how many heroes or villains will Star Wars Battlefront offer? We have only revealed 3 heroes and villains at this time: Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader and Boba Fett, but we do have more to talk about in the near future that will fill in the ranks of heroes and villains. What are the PC system requirements? During the technical alpha, we did provide rough minimum specs required to play the game, but those are not final. As the game gets closer to being finalised, we will have had the chance to optimise for a much larger range of systems and will provide the final minimum specifications at that time. Will we offer split screen for online multiplayer modes? We will only offer split screen for co-op missions on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. In Walker Assault, we saw snowspeeders, TIE fighters and X-Wings. Are these air vehicles available in every Walker Assault mode regardless of the map? The vehicles available in Walker Assault will vary based on the map. As you all mentioned in our E3 build, there are Snowspeeders, TIE Fighters and X-Wings. In contrast, Walker Assault on Endor, seen in our debut trailer, will feature an absolutely massive AT-AT. Can an Imperial soldier be crushed by an AT-AT in Walker Assault? What about a Rebel? Pro tip, it's best to avoid running beneath AT-ATs. How many times will the hero-villain power-up be available in a match? Our goal is to make sure we deliver a balanced, fun experience with the hero-villain power-ups. Right now, we are currently working on how many times in a match a power-up will spawn with that in mind. Are hero characters available in all multiplayer modes? We are making the heroes and villains a part of those maps and modes and don't overly dominate the battle. Can I play missions as both Rebel and Imperial forces? While survival missions will only allow players to fight for the Rebels, our battles and hero battles missions will give players the opportunity to fight as either Rebels or Imperials. What are some of the species I can play as? We're giving fans the opportunity to play as some of their favourite characters and species in Star Wars Battlefront. You'll be able to unlock the ability to play as Twi'leks, Salustans, Zabraks, Quarrens and more while fighting for the Rebels. The next piece of news was that the Blast game mode was revealed, and it is basically a team deathmatch mode, and it pits the Rebels and Imperial factions against each other with intense 10 vs 10 battles. If your team reaches 100 kills or are ahead when the 10-minute round is over, you've won. Immediate, addictive and exciting until the very last kill, that is our ambition with Blast. And the lead level designer, Dennis Bramville, talks about breathtaking sights within the Blast mode. One battle you'll be fighting within the interior levels of Endor or Sullust. In the next battle you might find yourself among Tatooine's dusty canyons, or inside the undeniably cool ice caves on Hoth. My favourite is the verticality of Tatooine fighting by the Sandcrawler. To keep the action dense in this close quarters mode, the Blast maps are not as vast as in other modes. You should know that they are all specifically designed for this specific game mode in mind. In other words, these aren't just smaller versions of maps used elsewhere. Bramville notes that this variation is crucial and something that can be noticed in other ways too. Say you've just played Walker Assault mode on Hoth and then switched to Blast still on Hoth. Thanks to the variations in lighting and time of day, you'll definitely see a difference. As in other Star Wars Battlefront game modes, the key to success is choosing a hand with a weapon layout that suits you and the battle conditions. Also, you'll find weapon pickups strewn across the map. And since there are no vehicles or hero and villains joining the fight, the strategic value of these pickups is very high. Whether you pick up a droid, scanning for nearby enemies, or a turret that will control the zone for you, the pickups can really turn the tide of a Blast match, says Bramville. They are not around every corner though, so keep your eyes peeled. And when you're playing this game mode, you'll be able to pick up power-ups such as scanning droids, gun turrets, and shields. During an earnings call on July 30th, Electronic Arts COO Peter Moore revealed that DICE's upcoming shooter Star Wars Battlefront is enjoying extremely strong pre-orders. He didn't share any specific numbers. But with the rise of digital gaming, physical pre-orders don't mean as much as they might have used to, Moore acknowledged. More and more, as we see digital start to take hold of our customers, pre-orders become less of a key indicator, he said. Moore's comments come in response to a question about how Battlefront's pre-order numbers compared to those of Battlefield Hardline. He did not answer that part of the question. Overall, Battlefront is expected to be a big seller for EA, as the company anticipates that it will sell between 9 to 10 million units by March 31st, 2016. The Fighter Squadron gameplay trailer was released, showing off an epic battle above the plains of Sullust. All of those who complained about the game not having space battles, well, who needs space battles when you have this awesomeness? The game mode lets you engage in aerial battles with up to 20 players and AI-controlled ships during the fight, and obviously the trailer revealed that Slave One will be a playable vehicle alongside the Millennium Falcon. The objective of the game mode is to destroy more fighters than the other team. If your team reaches a score limit of 200 kills or has the most kills when the time limit is over, your side wins. But there's more than dogfights to worry about. As transport shuttles are being utilised by both the Rebels and Imperials, your job will be either to attack the other team's shuttle or keep yours out of harm's way. Expect intense fights over the transport shuttles and earn bonus points if you take care of them as your objective directs. If you want to give yourself and your team an edge, look for power-ups located in key areas of the map. Often placed low and by challenging flight paths, these pickups are a bit tricky to reach, but with bonuses like ship repairs or shorter missile cooldown, they're definitely worth the trip. Then there's that special power-up, the one that gives you a few minutes piloting the galaxy's most coveted starfighters. An extra trailer was released for the game, showing off some new clips, including Shadow Troopers and of Darth Vader force choking a rebel soldier, and then deflecting blaster shots. Vader looks extremely menacing, but luckily I'll be playing as the Empire and as him. We were also given another DICE developer diary with Nicholas Fegerius narrating. It showed off some awesome shots of Sullust, and you can watch the video by using the link in the description below. Another new game mode was revealed called Supremacy. Supremacy centres on 5 control points scattered across the map. The objective is gaining control of all 5, or the majority of them, before the 10-minute round is over. Each team starts the match controlling 2 of these control points, initially fighting for control of the 5th one in the centre. After this is determined, the control points need to be claimed in a set order. This means the action will be taking place on 2 control points at a time, 1 for each team. Supremacy is a game mode that will excite fans of the Conquest mode from Battlefield. That said, we've made several tweaks to improve the formula. You will always spawn close to the action when you enter Supremacy, so you'll never feel isolated from the fight. By focusing on 1 key point at a time, players not playing the objective and camping on a hill somewhere will be a rare sight. Using a character like Darth Vader to secure control points is great, as it can take increased damage before going down. Luke Skywalker and Boba Fett are great for moving swiftly between attacking and defensive positions, and giving you the edge against opponents in battle. When you spawn into Supremacy, you don't have to move far to see a lot of friends and enemies. You're thrown into a massive front line where your screen is filled with adversaries, infantry, heroes, walkers and starfighters. You can prepare for very heavy and focused Star Wars action, Bramville says. So I'm guessing that this mode is very similar to the Conquest mode in Battlefield, but a bit more different and tweaked this time, and it's going to have all the stuff we've seen basically so far in there, well, most of it. A Star Wars Battlefront PS4 limited edition bundle was revealed, and it does include a PS4 of course with Darth Vader on, with Star Wars lettering in the background, and also a customised controller with the relevant colours and design. It also comes with Star Wars Battlefront the Deluxe Edition, and includes 4 vouchers for some Star Wars classic games, including Super Star Wars, Racer Revenge, Bounty Hunter and Jedi Starfighter. EA released an article going into more detail about Boba Fett and how he will play in the game. For example, his jetpack lets Boba Fett fly around the map, making him extremely mobile, and gives him the ability to take shots from the air with his EE-3 carbine rifle. He comes equipped with 2 wrist launchers, 1 armed with a rocket, perfect for long range attacks, and 1 with a flame blast attack for when things get up close and personal. As originally portrayed in the films, Boba Fett has a wealth of gadgets at his disposal, but we only see him use a fraction of these in the films. There's much more than the jetpack and blaster rifle going on. Boba Fett has got a disintegrator pistol, a flame pack in 1 arm, rockets, dart launchers, and even lasers. So there was a lot to choose from before we wound up with the final loadout. The article mentioned that Boba Fett will have a fuel mechanic, meaning that you can't just fly around unhindered. You will have to land from time to time, which will make you vulnerable to characters which are on the ground below, such as Luke Skywalker. But this makes the game more balanced. I'm looking forward to playing as Boba Fett, but not as much as Darth Vader. You can read the full article by using the link in the description below. Another article was released, but this time it shows off concept art of the Battle of Jakku DLC, which is the first DLC being released for Battlefront, all for free. The Battle of Jakku took place in the aftermath of the Rebel victory on the Forest Moon of Endor, and the intensity of the battle was one of the aspects DICE concept artist Anton Grandert wanted to convey when creating the Jakku artwork. The size difference between the visual elements was another. There's a David and Goliath theme to this, says Grandert. The epic huge superstructures of the Star Destroyers contrast against the tiny but brave rebel soldiers fighting the Imperial forces. We wanted to portray a battle completely surrounding you, in every direction. Debris falling from the sky, telling the story of battles above. On the surface of the planet you can see ground troops as well as X-Wings, all taking part of the fight. And the images that we were provided with look epic, and I can't wait to get my hands on this DLC, because it looks like there's going to be so much carnage, and just the fact that we'll be fighting next to a crashed Star Destroyer and being able to look up at this epic view is just mind-blowing. We heard news of a Battlefront book quite a while ago, but nothing more was mentioned about it, until now. There is in fact a Battlefront book coming out, and it is called Star Wars Battlefront Twilight Company, and the novel centers on a group of soldiers fighting in the trenches during the Galactic War. When orders come down for the rebels to fall back in the face of superior opposition numbers and firepower, Twilight reluctantly complies. Then an unlikely ally radically changes the strategic equation and gives the Alliance's hardest fighting warriors a crucial chance to turn retreat into resurgence. The book is written by author Alexander Freed and will be released on November 3rd. You can see the cover art on your screens now. A beta for Battlefront was revealed and it is coming early October. It will be available to play on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and on Origin for PC. The Star Wars Battlefront beta is a technical test and will feature Walker Assault on Hoth, a 40-player multiplayer battle featuring Rebels and the Empire. Walker Assault will also give you the chance to play as two of the most iconic characters in the Star Wars universe, Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. The beta will also feature the survival mission on Tatooine, where you and a rebel friend must fight back waves of Imperial forces. Sullust was also confirmed to be a playable planet in the beta, so overall we get Hoth, Tatooine and Sullust as playable planets. It is an open beta, so anyone who registers can take part. You don't have to have the game already pre-ordered or anything like that. And you can freely record and live stream footage of the beta, which is awesome, but of course you'll have to turn off the Star Wars music in the game, otherwise you could receive a strike against your YouTube channel or wherever you post this footage. Alongside the beta, we will be getting a companion app that will be available on iOS and Android, and it is basically an app that lets you check your stats, progression and customise your characters without actually being on the game. The app also features a strategic card game called Base Command that lets you earn in-game credits that unlock star cards, weapons and more. There is quite a bit of more detail about the app on the article released about the beta, so you can read more on that by using the link in the description below. There will be no server browser in Star Wars Battlefront, and if you don't know what a server browser is, it's basically a tool that can be used to conduct a more detailed search for your favourite maps, game modes and settings on multiplayer, meaning that you can customise your matchmaking extremely well. A skill-based matchmaking system is being used for Battlefront, which means you'll be quickly and automatically placed into games with people that are on the same skill level as you. This is of course a great system, but a server browser will be very nice to have there as well, as I do really like the detailed and customisable searching, as well as being able to mess about on an empty server. Quite a few people are upset that there is no server browser, but EA and DICE have mentioned on Twitter that they are taking in feedback, and I'm hoping that they will add in a server browser sometime after the release of the game, but of course we'll have to wait and see. So that's all the news over the last few months. I hope you enjoyed the video and you're more up to date now on whatever you might have missed, or you might get some more clarification on some news. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.